What's going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about whether or not active duty Army, Army National Guard, or the Army Reserves gets trained the same at basic training and after. So a lot of times people who are joining the Army Reserves or the National Guard ask me this question, which is, they're going to basic training. Are they going to be with other people who are in the Army Reserves, or are they going to be with just other people who are in the National Guard, or like, how is that going to be? And I'm gonna let you guys know that when you go to basic training and when you go to AIT or when you go to any other training, anything in the Army, it is going to be combined, right? So any training event or anything that you go to in the military is going to be combined of all the components. So when you get to basic training, it's going to be a combination of active duty soldiers, a combination of Army Reserve soldiers, a combination of National Guard soldiers. Everybody is going to get the exact same training at basic training at AIT. If you go to airborne school, if you go to any other school, you're going to get the same training that all the components get. Now after AIT, that is a different story. Once you finish your final initial training into the military, you're going to go to your unit. Whether you're active duty, you're going to go to your active duty unit. You're going to get stationed somewhere. If you're in the Army Reserves or the Army National Guard, you're going to go to wherever that place is, whether it's in your state or in another state. You got to move, I don't know, but you're going to go there. Now the question is, do you get the same training? And the answer is no, right? Because number one, you're going to be going to a different place. So you're going to have different people training you to do different things, right? So your unit is going to have a different mission than another person's unit, right? And what I mean by the mission is each unit in the military, each, company, battalion, whatever, they have a mission in the bigger grand scheme of things, and they're not all the exact same mission. So one signal battalion or signal company or whatever is going to be focused on this one area, and another signal battalion could be focused on another area in support of whatever mission or objective or campaign that they're trying to do. So you are going to be, kind of training accordingly towards that. But on the National Guard and then the Army Reserve side, it's a similar thing, but at the same time, people will ask me, do you get the same quality training in the Army Reserves or in the National Guard that you do when you're active duty? And essentially the answer is yes or no, right? So more leaning towards the fact of no, because you're not active duty, right? So if you're trying to work a job and you're having somebody who is, let's say they're an infantry soldier, right? And then you have a National Guard soldier who's infantry, who is going to theoretically know more, in most cases, it's going to be the active duty soldier, because that's what they do every single day. The National Guard soldier, yes, they're going to be training on infantry tactics and all that stuff. Maybe they might be really into it, so they might do some things on their own time. But at the end of the day, the active duty soldier is active duty. They do this as their full-time job. Army Reserves and National Guard do this as their part-time job. So whenever it comes to that, you could get really good training on that weekend that you go to drill. Whenever you're in the National Guard or the Army Reserves, that weekend that you go to drill, you could get really good training. But if you don't remember that over the next month, whenever you don't have drill, whenever you're not doing anything, whenever you're not messing with that military gear, you're just not going to be as familiar with it as an active duty soldier. An active duty soldier, could be super familiar with the equipment that they're dealing with because they deal with it every single day. An Army Reserve or a National Guard soldier, they could be dealing with the same or similar equipment, but then at the end of the day, they go home and then they go and they work their other job, right? They go and work their other job, and they don't, a lot of people ask me, they don't live on post. So if you're in the Army Reserves, you're not gonna live on the Army Reserve base or whatever that you're at. Some Army Reserve units are on actual, big military installations, but the vast majority of the National Guard and the Army Reserves, they're gonna have their own little smaller pocket bases. They're not really bases. There'll be some buildings and all this other military gear and stuff. So if you're ever, driving alongside the road and you see a whole bunch of Humvees and a whole bunch of stuff, and you see like a sign Army National Guard, that's really all it is. But a military installation, military post, military base, whatever you want to call it, is big. It's really big. So you're not going to be living on base if you're in the Army National Guard or in the Army Reserves. Maybe there's some outlier cases, but 99.99% of people, I can just say that you're not going to have that opportunity because you're part-time essentially, right? You're part-time. They're not going to give you the full housing benefits and stuff, that active duty soldiers get. You're just not. So at the end of the day, whenever you boil everything down, if you were just to blanket statement everything, yes, active duty soldiers are going to get trained better. They're going to be doing things way more often than Army Reserves and National Guard soldiers, just because that's the nature of the thing. You do something every day versus you do something a couple times a month, then there's going to be a difference there. Now, it does also depend on the individual, right? It totally depends on the individual. You can have an active duty soldier who is not as good or not as proficient as an Army Reserve or National Guard soldier when you compare on an individual person basis. I'm sure there's plenty of cases like that out there where possibly an Army National Guard soldier is more proficient at infantry tactics than an active duty infantry soldier, because maybe the National Guard soldier is way more into it and he does all these things. The only caveat to all of this would be AGR soldiers. So basically active duty National Guard soldiers and basically active duty Army Reserve soldiers. So that's how you can think about it, which is basically when you have an Army Reserve or a National Guard soldier who works every day, right? So they're not drilling monthly, they're AGR. They're actually working every single day at the unit. So in that case, you might have somebody where you compare it to active duty, and then yeah, it's basically the same because they're doing their job, you know, the same amount of times than the other person on the active duty side. But that's the only real caveat to this. So that's gonna finish out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I answered that question for all of you guys who are curious whether or not you're going to basic training, you're in the Army Reserves, are you gonna get the same training as far as basic training and AIT goes as an active duty soldier? And the answer is yes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, that would be awesome. If you want to stick around for some more of my videos, hit that subscribe button, that would be even better. I almost forgot to tell you guys, if you want to follow me on social media, go ahead and do that, and I will see you guys later.